Thanks for joining us for this look at the best original reporting from KPBS News this week. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Coming up, one of America's richest developers wants to spend some of his money in San Diego. Those involved with the Midway Rising project tell us why the presence of Rams owner Stan Kroenke is a game changer. More from our KPBS series on public art. Amita Sharma reconnects with an artist who helped transform an empty lot in South Bay's Nestor neighborhood and keeping students connected to campus. See some of the plans UC San Diego has for more student housing. And we're going to stay at UC San Diego for our first story, where some students are accused of assaulting the university chancellor. KPBS education reporter MG Perez shows us some of the confrontation, which is rooted in a dispute over a union contract.
In December, we signed a legally binding union contract with the university.
A group of UC San Diego graduate student workers was determined to be heard by the university's chancellor, Pradeep Khosla. Cell phone video shows what happened at this UCSD alumni event May 5th at the Museum of Contemporary Art in La Jolla. Alex Wenzel is a student researcher who was there to document what was supposed to be a peaceful protest. The group alleges the university has refused to implement new contract requirements for thousands of graduate and postgraduate employees.
Everything that I saw from my position in the audience indicated that this was a peaceful action. The chancellor did stand up on stage with the group. He eventually decided of his own accord to leave. So allegations that he was pushed off the stage or anything of that nature are not true and are borne out in the video.
University administrators don't see it that way. UC San Diego's Office of Student Conduct has launched investigations into Wenzel's actions and the actions of 66 other student employees who supported the May 5th demonstration. That includes Ahmed Alaboy and Maya Gostella, who are union stewards with the UAW 2865 local, which represented student workers in their contract negotiations and eventual contract ratification last December.
I think the administration is trying to target us and basically scare us into silence. They don't want to fix the issue, and so they think that by bringing these charges against us, we're going to be scared and we're not going to want to continue to organize to fix the issue.
The incident triggered charges from the Office of Student Conduct against the group, claiming physical assault, threatening the health and safety of a person, and obstruction of university activities.
I honestly thought it was just a mistake when I saw it, because I was like, surely someone made a typo or something. But absolutely, there was no contact of any kind, certainly not physical assault. There's no involvement of the police, so UCSD is basically the prosecutor and judge in this case.
What we know for sure is that whatever happened here at the museum last month, it was just one of several ongoing disagreements between UC San Diego administration and student workers. At the heart of it all is the interpretation of contracts approved by both sides. Chancellor Khosla has not commented about the incident, but the university's communication department gave KPBS News a statement that says, in part, if unions or individual union members believe that the university is not in compliance with its contractual commitments, collective bargaining agreements establish orderly processes to file grievances and have them adjudicated. Calculated disruption of official university business is never appropriate. So tonight, the interpretation of this event is still under investigation. MG Perez, KPBS News.
And that story is connected to the high cost of living in San Diego. And here's another. UC San Diego is trying to catch up with the huge demand for affordable student housing. And once again, here's MG Perez on some of the work that started this week to close the gap.
There's lots of noise being made at and about new construction on the campus of UC San Diego this week. These buildings started going up about a year ago. Welcome to what will become Pepper Canyon West, apartment housing for 1,300 transfer and upper division undergraduate students. There are also plans for more living space to help postgraduate student employees who survive contract to contract.
I've had friends who, once our contracts were up, they didn't have anywhere else to go, really, and so we were like trying to figure out where they were going to go.
You have to use your imagination to visualize this lot with older campus buildings becoming the new Triton Student Center in about 3 years. The buildings are coming down in a few weeks and construction begins. This architect's rendering shows in light blue all the space that will house a health center, counseling offices, and this stunning alumni and welcome center.
Really, a lot of this is about access.
Robert Clausen is the director of campus planning. He knows every detail of every new project being built to solve the housing crisis here. That includes the Ridgewalk North complex, billed as a 2,400-bed residential village. This will be complete in 3 years, too.
Really, what we're trying to do is provide the ability to accommodate as many students as we can. So in the future, be able to provide all of that access for students, high school students, as they're thinking about where they want to go to college.
UC San Diego is not only building new housing and facilities, there is also a rebranding happening here. What you see is now referred to as a living and learning neighborhood. And there was a capital campaign to raise $3 billion to pay for it. That's billions with a B. The payoff is that by fall 2024, a student can rent a one-bedroom apartment in the Pepper Canyon West building for about $1,200, well below market price.
I'm personally really happy about it because it enables a lot of students, those who are from abroad, can actually, live on campus, experience the campus life, and also hopefully this, turn out to be cheaper.
That is worth making some noise about. MG Perez, KPBS News.
There are no construction cranes yet in the Midway District, but there is a jolt of excitement around plans to build a new sports arena and a whole lot more. In one of our most popular stories this week, Kitty Alvarado has reaction to billionaire Stan Kroenke becoming Midway Rising's lead investor.
This is amazing.
Stan Kroenke, the owner of the LA Rams and Denver Nuggets, is now the lead investor in the Midway Rising redevelopment project.
It is so compelling and it is such an exciting investment opportunity that one of the most successful and deep-pocketed real estate investors has chosen San Diego.
That's Jim Anderson, the Chief Development Officer at Chelsea Investment Corporation, the partner company in charge of the affordable housing component.
And let's create a lot more housing for the people who desperately need it.
The project is slated to add a 16,000-seat arena on the 50-acre property, replacing the historic Pechanga Arena in the Midway District. It will also add retail space, a hotel, a plaza and park, plus 4,200 housing units, half of them affordable.
2,000 affordable housing units is the single largest affordable housing project in the history of California. It's never been done. Are we going to do it? You bet.
Anderson says Kroenke is the perfect fit for the team they have assembled because he's not just a person with capital, but also follow through with accomplishments like SoFi Stadium.
That takes an individual that is willing to push and push hard to achieve that result. Not a big corporation with a giant board of directors that's going to look at every nickel. Mr. Kroenke only invests in places he really believes in. I think it's a great endorsement of this project and a great endorsement of our region.
Rumors are already swirling about what this could mean for the future of San Diego sports.
Will another professional team come to San Diego? I mean, you probably know as much as I do. However, will it happen? I think it would be pretty awesome because San Diego deserves it.
He says the backing of such a large investor willing to pour money into Midway Rising makes what is now a vision one step closer to becoming a reality.
We are going to have a deep-pocketed balance sheet to see us from today all the way through the final home being developed and rented. So we couldn't be more thrilled, and it simply just really gives the project a turbo boost.
The cost for the Midway project is expected to be disclosed next month. Kitty Alvarado, KPBS News.
Carpool lanes, also known as HOV lanes, are being extended along a busy stretch of freeway in North County. Alexander Nguyen tells us it's supposed to cut the amount of time people spend stuck in traffic.
As any commuter knows, sitting in traffic is a pain, but things are about to get better for some North County commuters. 4 more miles of carpool lanes have opened on the 5 freeway. It's a joint project between Caltrans and Sandag.
That will reduce the number of cars on the freeway while reducing idling and congestion.
Lisa Heapner is the mayor of Solana Beach and the second vice chair of Sandag.
I've noticed that the traffic is running a lot smoother on the freeways, and that people are spending less time. People are taking advantage of traveling together with other passengers to work.
But adding more lanes is not always the answer. Studies have shown that adding more lanes to the freeways does not reduce congestion. In fact, it increases it. It's what's known as induced demand. And basically, it means more lanes equal more cars on the roads equal more traffic. Alan Kossip, the North County Corridor Director for Caltrans, says that only applies to general purpose lanes.
The carpool lanes are really focused at building an incentive for people to use high occupant vehicles.
He says HOV lanes have been shown to reduce commuting times by half. Caltrans refers to these as managed lanes.
Kind of control who's using the lanes. And in doing so, sort of prioritize moving people as opposed to moving vehicles. So that the idea is to move more people in the lanes.
The southbound HOV lanes opened Wednesday, and the northbound lanes are slated to open next week. Alexander Nguyen, KPBS News.
You can now stream all episodes of the new KPBS podcast series Freeway Exit. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen dives into how San Diego's freeways came to be, even at the expense of some communities of color. He also examines the future of San Diego's car culture and how it fits with the region's climate goals. And new this week, a special edition KPBS Freeway Exit t-shirt is available to new donors. Freeway Exit is available on all major podcast platforms, and you can also stream episodes at kpbs.org. And the Freeway Exit podcast has seen a big response from our online audience. And here are some of the other popular stories this week at kpbs.org. John Carroll has the story of one of San Diego's best-known companies, Qualcomm, and why it's cutting hundreds of local jobs. Another sign that we're moving away from pandemic life. Scott Rod talks with businesses about the end to street-side dining in beach communities. And Sundays at South Mission Beach used to be a weekly gathering space for Black San Diegans. KPBS reporter Katie Heisen looked into how policing took that away.
Yvonne Spinks chased the California dream from the Midwest to San Diego in the 80s.
Being a transplant here, my first thing was, where's community?
In the early 90s, she found a special spot.
And coming to beach on Sunday, that's where you found it.
She told me every other day the beach belonged to white San Diegans, but Sundays at South Mission were theirs.
Will Smith's Summertime. The part about 2 miles an hour so everybody sees you, and also Fresh from the barbershop, Fly from the beauty salon. And that's how it was. Everybody would be out. You'd have a nice, crisp summer outfit on. And this was our tender.
The South End was far from the food and entertainment spots, but they chose it for the free fun. They could barbecue and play basketball. Spinks's nephew, Antoine Bennett, discovered the gathering at 13.
It was just mind-blowing to see just the sea of people that look like me, enjoying themselves, dressed to the nines, just really having a great time. The music that I hear in my household and in my neighborhood playing.
The beach was packed with Black San Diegans, who made up less than 10% of the population. Spinks says police took advantage of this crowd of Black San Diegans in their cars to enforce minor infractions.
I would see people get tickets for the tread on their tires, tin on the window. I saw a guy get a ticket one time for the grill on the front of his car. I'm like, what in the world?
Cars would regularly get towed, including Spinks's.
That's where I got my impeding the flow of traffic ticket.
It strained what were meant to be carefree days.
Even if your registration's good, your license is good, everybody in your car have the proper amount of seatbelts, I mean, you have to go, it was a whole mental thing. I got flagged down, the cop was right there.
She says the police presence grew from 1 or 2 officers to an entire mobile command center. Beachgoers started moving north toward the roller coaster to get some distance from law enforcement, but the police followed. She thinks they were trying to deter Black San Diegans from returning.
It worked. Eventually it worked. I guess we all got enough tickets.
By the early 2000s, Sundays at the beach were lost.
You should enforce wanting to push people out of what they created. Like, we created this space.
This chief of police.
Jerry Sanders was the San Diego police chief for most of the 90s. A spokesperson declined on his behalf to comment. These disparities remain. San Diego Police Department data show they are more than 3 times as likely to stop a Black person than a white person. Demetrius Mastoris is a retired officer and now nationally consults on policing practices. He says racial disparities decrease when police focus on enforcing safety instead of administrative and equipment violations. And policing non-dangerous minor violations can break community trust.
They're going to go talk to people and they're going to tell their friends and family and they're going to talk about their experience with the police. And this builds, a lot of resentment.
More than a decade after Sundays at the beach stopped, Spink says she got a call from HR at her new job.
Oh, the city of San Diego sent a letter. They're going to garnish your wages. I'm like, for what?
Spink says the city garnished her wages for old fines and fees from the beach, totaling thousands of dollars. She says the experience took some of the gleam off California. Bennett says it changed how Black San Diegans relate to the beach. He quoted local rapper Ryan Anthony and his album, Barely See the Beach.
We are actually from San Diego, natives of San Diego, but we barely see this thing. A lot of us are confined or used to our 4 block radius.
Bennett and Spinks want people to know that wasn't always the case.
I still come out on Sundays just for nostalgia. I'll tell my daughter, we used to do this and we used to do that. And we used to drive down here and they can hear the fun and the excitement, but the loss at the same time.
Katie Hyson, KPBS News.
The San Diego region has one of the highest rates of multi-generational households. That's the focus of a special series from the KPBS newsroom. Scott Rodd met a family from northeastern Africa that overcame major hardships before uniting under one roof.
The G'day household is buzzing. They're preparing an early dinner inspired by northeastern African cuisine. Bana is busy roasting and grinding coffee beans.
So you wait until it gets a little dark brown.
Her 10-year-old daughter, Honey, is grating ginger.
Here.
And Grace, the family matriarch, stands by watching with pride. She offers instructions here and there, speaking both English and Tigrinya, her first language. It's a scene that many families would take for granted, putting together a meal at the end of a busy weekday. But Grace says nothing about this moment was guaranteed.
I'm happy to live with my family again, because that's I miss, because my family, that's all I have.
Their story is a winding journey through homelessness, incarceration, addiction, and threats of deportation, culminating in sobriety, faith, and family unity. Grace's family is originally from the country of Eritrea, but moved to Sudan due to an ongoing war. Her village was poverty-stricken, and local terrorist groups made it dangerous for girls and young women.
We didn't have no light, electrics, and no school. They have a school, but my parents, they scared to send us to school because, they're gonna kill us, kidnap us.
She came here at 16 years old with her husband and their 1-year-old daughter, Bana. But their marriage soon crumbled. That left Grace lost in this new, unfamiliar place.
In this country, I don't have any families at all. Nothing.
She started drinking heavily, partying, searching for community and comfort in the wrong places, with the wrong crowd.
I don't care anymore because at that time I miss my families and I want to kill my pain.
It came at a cost. She got a DUI. Child Protective Services took her children. Grace buried the pain with more drinking. Eventually, she wound up living on the streets. Another DUI landed her in jail and then facing deportation.
The lawyer, he say, she gotta go. The judges say, I'm giving her a chance.
The judge believed in Grace, believed that she could get clean and get back on her feet. But another mistake would mean deportation and possibly never seeing her children again.
And after that, I never drink for 12 years. Never drink, never smoke marijuana, never do anything.
Her daughter, Bana, around that time, found herself on her own path to recovery. She had a turbulent childhood. She grew up in a group home and then a foster home, dropped out of high school, and like her mom, Bana struggled with addiction. And then she got pregnant.
I changed my life after my daughter, and then I got back on my feet again after my daughter, from being homeless, from being on the street.
Bana gave birth to her daughter, Honey, and moved into supportive housing. She reconnected with her mother, Grace, who wanted to help provide a better life for her granddaughter. Grace and Bana bonded over a newfound devotion to God and a shared commitment to staying sober. The family found an apartment in an affordable housing complex in City Heights, a coveted spot considering the scarcity of affordable housing in the region.
We share the space, taking care of my daughter and me taking care of my mom and my mom taking care of me and my daughter.
What's the best part about living with your mom and your grandma?
They're kind and they make problems go away.
That's always good.
Yeah.
Honey is heading into the 5th grade next year, and she's got no shortage of interests in school.
And my favorite subject is art, is my first one, and math, and playing with my friends in school and recess.
With stability under one roof, the family is focused on helping others in need, especially people living on the streets.
I got donation, I gave it to people.
They collect donations, anything from adult diapers to bottled water, and Grace hands out home-cooked meals, served with a side of wisdom from the gospel. She has a YouTube page where she posts videos of her outreach work. Bana is busy with classes, making progress towards her high school equivalency degree. She's hoping it will one day lead to a job working with children.
Like a childcare or babysitting, because I love to work with kids.
Looking ahead, Bana hopes to find a bigger place to accommodate the family.
I hope and I pray, maybe 4 or 5 bedroom apartment, something, bigger, spacious.
She knows it might be tough with runaway housing costs in San Diego, but Bana isn't worried. She believes the family, all 3 generations, will live together for a long time, and that wherever they end up, it's not the number of rooms that define a home, but the people who share the space. Scott Rod, KPBS News.
And our series on multi-generational homes can be found on the KPBS YouTube page, and that's where we post all of our video content and where we live stream KPBS Evening Edition weeknights at 5. It's been said that public art can greet us, provide entry points, and even force a conversation. Prolific artist Roberto Salas recently walked with KPBS's Amita Sharma through a work of his that is often compared to one of the world's 11 wonders.
This is art you can actually touch.
This is art, in the words of its creator, Roberto Salas, that should give you a sense of the
primordial, historical, archaeological.
It's made of terracotta-colored sandstone, extracted, cut, and transported from the quarries of New Mexico in 2001. It now stands in a stretch of park on Grove Avenue in the South Bay community of Nestor.
This piece is called Plaza Piedra. I figured that could be a plaza. And then a piedra, of course, is stone.
San Diego's Commission for Arts and Culture hired Salas to create artwork meant to offset the drab industrial feel of the nearby wastewater treatment facility called the Grove Avenue Pump Station. His work sits in what was once an empty lot among homes and apartments.
There was a lot of people walking through this particular street in this community of Nestor with strollers, a lot of families. I said, I have to create something that sort of offers the family a place to be, a place to walk, to meditate, to think.
The piece starts with a few sandstone benches that line Grove Avenue, then continues on either side of a sidewalk into the park all the way to its center. There stand 4 13 feet tall sandstone pillars.
I needed something upright, and that upright, I mean, there's just something to look up and admire and have, and it's bigger than we are. Everybody says, oh, is it Stonehenge?
Salas says no, but the vibe of the stone pillars is ancient.
It looks like you're looking into the universe. Plus, they have fossils, a lot of beautiful imprints, something mysterious about them, and they do have souls. I feel that everything has a soul.
He put his own markings on the stones.
They are markings that sort of reminisce old pictographs or petroglyphs that I have in there.
Each of the 4 stone pillars has a stencil of the elements.
Wind, earth, fire, and water.
In the middle of the circle of stone pillars and benches is a place to play.
What you're seeing right in here is a 20-foot diameter sandbox or sand circle.
Gotta dig a little bit because I think it's been refilled. So the whole idea is that you can dig and you'll see images.
You'll find concrete carvings that reflect the area's history: drip irrigation, a dinosaur, a dairy farm.
It creates some curiosity, a little bit of critical thinking. So what is this all about?
Benches made out of that same sandstone intersperse the stone pillars.
This is one way that I could have parents sit, talk. Children are looked at, they're supervised. I love the fact that somebody can come here and say, oh, okay, I really like what's going on here, and they can enjoy it. It gives them a sense of place.
He expects that feeling to last for generations because of the stone's longevity.
You can see that these have been weathered, they've gone through a few things, but in general, they'll be here, they'll outlive me. And that's the beauty of public art.
Amita Sharma, KPBS News.
We hope that you enjoyed this look at KPBS News this week. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Thanks for joining us.